All. My name is Nandu. I'm a PhD scholar at University of Trento. I'm happy to present my poster titled IndoUKC, a concept-centered Indian multilingual lexical resource. The supporting people for these publications are Rajendran S. Velayathan, Yamini Chandrasekhar, Gabar Bella, Fausto Junqueira. Let me start my presentation with the context. The context of this publication is development of multilingual lexical resources, which very familiar topic, and there are very famous popular resources available. So I'm going to name a few are EuroWordNet and Open Multilingual WordNet and BibleNet as such. So my purpose or the purpose of this work is to understand even we have the number of speakers or more languages, and there are even 6,000 languages available. Very few languages are available in web, or there are very some languages are taking over the resources in web, and very few languages have more evolved further than the other languages. So this is one of the case, and I just wondered, will this affect in any other services or will affect in any other way? To answer that question, I will show you an example. If you do a Google Map search in two different languages, one is really popular and another is a language which is classically important but not very much famous. For example, as you can see, we are searching restaurant in Italy in English, which actually provide you very specific to the answer, that it lists out the restaurant to that specific location without even mentioning where I'm giving the location or giving the geography. But if I do the same search, same query in a language which is Malayalam, one of the Indian language in Kerala, where most people spoken, you can see the search query redirected to that geographical area, and it only listing very few results with associated to that query. Why this is happening? And considering all other factors, I'm just want to make a point. The language is not communicated to other languages. It's not connected to multiple languages. It's not connected to geographical area. So this is kind of a limitations have with the languages. And another kind of a point we like to make, why we need to such kind of resource, cultural diversity. To represent cultural diversity, for example, in Indian culture is very diverse and very different, and especially when you have to represent the family, the kinship, it is very diverse, and it's really different for south and north. So, for example, in English we have cousin. The definition is a son or daughter of uncle or auntie. But in Indian culture, the cousin varies, depends on whether he or she or he's older or younger, whether he's from paternal or maternal side. So it all depends from the culture where you are belongs to. So for the same cousin, the son of a aunt, there are like two example I like to give. So we may think that they all together semantically they mean same, but according to the culture, the cousin one can be married to the person, but the cousin two will be like a sibling. It's like a older brother who's more like affectionate is the different between the cousin one and cousin two. So the main question we actually ask are, first one, how are we going to represent the languages, multilingual resources without any bias, without taking over of or without a bias of one specific language? And another question is how we going to make the language resources to represent the diversity of certain cultures, certain languages. So with an answer to that question, I need to explain what is the foundation of the study, which is the IndoWordNet, because it is the popular and famous resources of Indian languages. It has 18 Indian languages. The central node is Hindi, which connects to the all the languages together. It's actually the one connects everything, and the it has a subset of Princeton WordNet, which is around 60 percentage of the since it's connected with the IndoWordNet. So we need there is a more opportunity to connect the languages. There are more possibilities to evolve the languages, and it has 18 Indian languages with an average of 10 to 20,000 synsets. So there is a possibility to evolve the within the languages itself. So there is more opportunity in terms of populating the resource. So the methodology we're going to explain for this work, our first one is a syntactic cleaning, and second one is building the diversity perceiving mapping, and third one is validation. And in the syntactic cleaning, it mainly the goal is to ensure the quality of the resultant resource. So you can see it's like we observed certain types of syntactic noise in the resource. So there are 5 types. First one is, there is a empty fields in the language files. And second type is there are values which is null in the fields, and third is there are random characters, especially to non-English field. You can see random characters in between or attached along with the field. And fourth one is the presence of double quotes, which actually makes a presence of another extra field in the resource. And fifth one is the gloss is not defined properly, so the synset and gloss is almost same. So based on this, we thought like the certain errors which requires the linguistic expert knowledge, we decided to filter it out, and then other knowledge which requires computationally, we actually fix this manually. Those kind of errors we fixed manually. So this table actually shows the list of total errors that we observed in the languages and filtered and also the cleaned errors. This next stage is to build the diversity preserve mappings. We basically we do here is transform and extend the mappings of the IndoWordNet using the UKC, which is one of the large scale multilingual resource available now. And there are 3 kinds of mappings between the Princeton WordNet and IndoWordNet. So to make more specific, to give a clear understanding of these mappings, I'm picking English and Hindi as 2 languages, and giving you the example of the 3 types of mapping. So first one is a one-to-one mapping, which is group A. So as you can see, the ID is a whole ID is connected with all the synsets, and English, Hindi, Malayalam all have connected, like aligned together. All the synsets are aligned together. So such kind of mapping is called the one-to-one mapping. The second kind is called many-to-one mappings, or group B, which has like one synset from English is actually mapped to many synsets in Hindi or any other other Indian language like Malayalam. So it actually make many-to-one mapping between the IndoWordNet and the Princeton WordNet. And third category is like there is no mapping with the in the Princeton WordNet. So there is no English synsets available. So we believe it could be one either reason is could be a lexical gap, which is there is no translation available in English, or could be not progress. I mean, it hasn't evolved completely, so it needs to be one of the tasks in order to complete. So this is where we actually, that's why we in this work we are not explaining the group C work. We are planning to do as a future work. So here we prepare in this stage we prepared the mapping files in order to validate for importing everything into as a separate resource. So we prepared for Tamil and English in order to make sure everything is to be validated. And so in the next stage, what we are going to do is the validation, and we will extend the mapping for other languages as well. So whatever we defining in the files, we're going to extend it. So our validation step consisted of two steps. First one is we review the group A, which is the equivalence mapping. We need to verify whether it's a correct one. And second is we need to choose which one is the correct mapping based between the many to one mappings between the two languages. So that is the second stage of the validation. So to explain specifically, we will have a file of English and Malayalam, and then we ask the linguistic person to verify are the mappings are correct. And second stage, we also create the mappings for English, Malayalam, English, Tamil, and then we ask the linguistic person to choose the correct mapping from it. And the final this stage, the evaluation stage, is after we found the English, Malayalam, English, Tamil file, we found the mappings. Then we extended it for all other 16 languages, all the remaining Indian languages. Then what we did was we have now a resource which is a concept oriented IndoUKC, and now we need to evaluate whether how much concepts are aligned properly, how these equivalent mappings are they, how much similarity between these mappings are there. So in order to do this, we use the stage of evaluation. And as you can see, this figure represents how much mappings are available in right now in the resource. And then we, in order to make sure we are not taking whole resources as a in order to make the evaluation stage, what we did was we choose 77 concepts from the languages, and then we selected the concept in a way in order to avoid the bias of a language, because that's not so if it will be make a language specific or a particular language biasness. To avoid that, we actually make sure these concepts are common concepts in all languages, and we use the semantic similarity as the measure between the to check the mappings quality, let's say, after this our methodology. And then we calculated the semantic similarity of the glosses of English and the Indian languages, which we convert we convert the gloss value using the BERT sentence transformer. That is the technology we used here. And we clustered the semantic scores according to the each language's overall average. So that's where we find out how much they are higher or how much it's not based on it is based on the average score. And this is the final result of how much they incremented the quality of the semantic mappings or semantic similarity, because here in the second phase, as you can see, IndoUKC evaluated the diversity mappings correctly, and they checked how much the mappings are there, and they so it ensures the quality in terms of the correctly aligned concepts. And right now, I am showing you the whole 18 languages with the changes in the between group A and group B. So we improved the group B into group A and the group C. We actually, that's the main objective of this work. So we actually use the linguistic support in order to find out the correct equivalence and also new lexical gap values, and which we going to make we going to ask the linguistic expert again to reevaluate if we can find a new concept or not. So that process will be happening in our future stage. So what is really happening is we converted the structure of the Indo WordNet into a new structure where we finding the right concepts and we align them equivalently. So as you can see, we aligned the holy place instead of Pavitra Sthan and Dham. We actually make sure the holy place goes to the Pavitra Sthan as the correct value, and we found the right concept for the Dham. And if there is a no concept available in English, we indicate that as a lexical gap. So this will be the new structure of these resources, or especially the resultant resources. And so, as the conclusion, we explained the generation of the IndoUKC resource here, and how we use the linguistic expert to find out the very concise mappings between the languages. And there is a big work, a big challenge in the part is we have a group C which we don't have any mapping with the English, so which could be a new concepts or could be already existing concepts. So it is easy to link because it's only 60% of Princeton WordNet is linked with the resource. And second is, the resource itself, like I said in the beginning, resource itself does need more words and more languages to be added as well, especially to different domains like Bhagavad Gita, which is more cultural relevant to the Indian culture and Indian languages. So it makes the language much strong in terms of culture and strong in terms of the language side, and also could be connected with the help of the UKC to other world languages, so it can be transferred the knowledge across the languages, across the borders as well. So thank you for listening me.